As in the case of the assistant, you can remain open to agreement should the other change their mind. We're on page 207 from the chapter Underscore Your No from the book The Power of a Positive No. This part is called The More Power, the More Respect. Even when you do resort to your plan B, it is best to do it with restraint. Power can be easily abused. The exercise of power is often accompanied by a spirit of vengeance, an insensitivity to the suffering of others, and profound disrespect. If in the end you would like to get to yes with the other, your use of power needs to be tempered with respect. The more power you exercise, the more respect you need to show. Implement your plan B with respect, and even perhaps with regret. Instead of punishing your child with anger, it is wiser to spell out the consequences with sadness. I am sorry that you will not have your cell phone this week. When you are able to get your homework done every night, you'll be able to have the phone back. Do not confuse respect with weakness. If you have to enforce a consequence with your child, for instance, you may feel a strong temptation to relent before the consequence is complete. But this risks undermining your credibility for the future. It's important to consistently enforce the consequence, since the exercise of power can easily strain your relationships. Use it sparingly and keep it positive. Consider the challenge faced. Okay, there we go. Consider the challenge faced by a group of poor neighborhoods in the city of San Antonio in 1974. Although their streets and sewage systems were in terrible shape, and there were federal and state monies available for improving them, the city council, dominated by business interests, resisted authorizing the necessary repairs, wanting to spend the money elsewhere. The people in the neighborhoods might have chosen to use negative power to say no and dramatize their plight. They might have reacted with a riot, as had happened when people's frustrations have spilled over. But the price would have been high in suffering and property damage. Everyone would have suffered, the poor most of all. Instead, the neighborhoods responded with positive power by creating a coalition called COPS, Communities Organized for Public Service. When the city council continued to ignore their repeated requests, COPS resorted to their plan B. Hundreds of COPS activists lined up at a big bank downtown, each asking to change hundreds of dollars into pennies. Then they lined up again to change the pennies back into dollars. Meanwhile, dozens of other activists visited a local department store, trying on clothes but not buying anything. These kinds of creative, non-violent actions brought much of the business in the downtown area to a halt. With their financial interests at risk, the leaders of the business community spoke to the city council about the need to take immediate action. They saw to it that there was no more avoidance or denial. The city council and the business community learned that they could not simply address the needs of the wealthy downtown and neglect the needs of the poor neighborhoods. The city council met with the leaders of COPS and freed up the promised funds for improving the infrastructure of the poor neighborhoods. COPS had achieved their goals by using positive power, strong and respectful, to bring the other side to their senses. And the next part is meet resistance with persistence. In summary, your positive no draws a new line, creating a new reality for the other to respect. At first, they may find it difficult to accept this new reality and may ignore your no or pressure you to yield. While you may feel tempted to give in or counterattack, such reactive behaviors will only divert the other's attention away from the new reality. The alternative is to meet the other's resistance with persistence. Underscore your no with positive power. See your task as using your power to help the other appreciate and accept the new reality. Let that reality be their teacher, not you. Let the other proceed through the natural cycle of acceptance, interceding only when it is necessary to keep the new reality in focus. Once the other does accept your no, it is time to negotiate an agreement and move toward a healthier relationship. That is the subject of the next and final step of the positive no method. And the last chapter is going to be chapter 9. It says negotiate to yes. So thank you for being with me and listening. I appreciate you. We have finished chapter 8 together. So thank you very much.